Dickie and his father have nothing, no shoes, no money, and they literally share their home with cockroaches. But when his father brings home a strange green ball, scavenged from a landfill, their world of poverty turns into a playground of alien miracles. CJ7 isn't just a toy. He's a super-powered guardian who can fix broken fans, restore rotten fruit, and help a bullied boy finally stand tall. This is more than a sci-fi comedy. It's a heart-shattering story about the bond between a father and son and the ultimate sacrifice an alien friend makes to fix a broken heart. Prepare to laugh, cry, and witness a miracle found in the middle of a dumpster. If you enjoy deep, emotional movie recaps, tap like and subscribe now. This story starts as a comedy, but ends as something unforgettable. The story follows a boy, Dickie, and his father, Ty. Ty is a poor laborer, struggling to make ends meet at a construction site. Their life is so harsh that they cannot even afford the cheapest rent in the slums, forcing them to live in a dilapidated, partially demolished building. T is always busy, leaving little time to care for Dickie, who often arrives at school dirty and unkempt. At both home and school, they face constant judgment. Ty is looked down on at his workplace, while Dickie is bullied by classmates and ridiculed by teachers, though one teacher, Miss Ewan, genuinely cares for him. Despite the hardships, father and son refuse to let others' opinions break them. They face each day with cheerfulness and gratitude, holding on to each other above all else. Dickie understands his father's sacrifices and barely asks for much. Still, he's a child, and sometimes he just wants to belong. During lunch one day, Dickie's classmate Johnny shows off his new toy, a robotic dog called CJ1. When Dickie approaches, Johnny shoves him aside. Johnny and his minions then turn on Maggie, a girl whose size sets her apart from the others. Dickie steps in and tells them to leave her alone. They ignore him and walk away. Dickie is often barred from participating in sports because his worn-out sneakers are deemed unsuitable. Moments later, Maggie joins him, explaining that she pretended to forget her shoes just so she could sit with him. Dickie reveals that his father found his sneakers in the trash. Maggie praises his father, calling him a good man. Although Dickie appreciates his father, he really wishes for new sneakers so he can take part in sports, which he loves. At a construction site, Dickie's father struggles to keep up with the work. His boss considers letting him off, but the man begs to stay, explaining he needs money to buy a fan so his son can sleep through the heat. His boss scolds him, questioning why he works so hard and spends all his money sending Dickie to a private school while his own son attends a public one. Ty explains that he wants Dickie to have better opportunities and a life different from his own. Understanding the poor man's reasoning, the boss allows him to keep working on the site. T's living condition could be a little better, but he spends most of his earnings to send Dickie to a private school. He doesn't mind. Dickie deserves it. All he asks is that his son studies hard and follows their moral code: don't steal, don't lie, and don't fight. That night, Ty comes home with a fan, eager to surprise Dickie. The boy is excited that his father managed to buy one, but when T switches it on, the blades spin briefly before sparking and dying. Dickie assumes he picked the fan from the trash, though Ty insists he paid a high price and that it worked when he bought it. With no choice, T resorts to using a hand fan. During dinner, T carefully cuts away the rotten parts of an apple to give to Dickie. Just then, Dickie asks for new sneakers. Ty promises he will get them. Before bed, they share a lighthearted moment, killing the cockroaches living rent-free in their disheveled home. The next morning, they squat outside an electronics store watching the news through the display television. In a news report, a local man claims to have seen a UFO. But when a photo is requested, the image closely resembles the hat the man is wearing, making his report look like a joke. While T watches, Dickie wanders into the toy store next door and discovers a robot dog identical to Johnny's CJ1. He pleads with his father, promising never to ask for anything again if he gets it. Ty admits he has no money and asks him to put it back. Dickie refuses and keeps insisting, until Ty spanks him. Ty retrieves the toy from him and Dickie runs out of the store in tears. Ty follows and finds him with his teacher, Ewan. She tells him to go easy on Dickie, noting that kids can get grumpy when they don't get what they want. Then she tells the boy to behave and walks away. That night, Ty goes to a junkyard where he finds a pair of sneakers. He takes them, intending to give them to Dickie. Ty finds a television in the junkyard and picks it up to see if it still works. The screen suddenly flickers to life. As he stares at it, distracted, a UFO rises silently from the wreckage and disappears into the sky, leaving behind a small green object. Ty only notices something is wrong when the shoes are gone. When he gets home, Ty tells Dickie that he has found something far better than a CJ1. Dickie rushes to see it, but is disappointed to find a green jelly-like ball. However, he takes it to school the next day. When Johnny sees him, he mocks him, asking what the thing is. Dickie proudly names it CJ7 and claims it is much better than CJ1. Johnny sneers that Dickie's father probably picked it from the trash. Furious, Dickie threatens to hit him if he keeps insulting his dad. Johnny responds by blowing a whistle. Moments later, a boy, almost as big as Maggie, nicknamed Dragon, appears, grabs him, and hurls him away. Back home, T scolds Dickie for fighting and tearing his uniform. Dickie explains that his classmates laughed at him because of the stupid toy. As his father scolds him, he accidentally activates the green ball, bringing it to life. The green ball slowly begins to transform. Terrified, Dickie throws it away, screaming that it is cursed and claiming he sees ghosts around the house. T asks him to be quiet and focuses on fixing the uniform. The closet door creaks open. Dickie peers inside, spots something moving, and screams again. Fed up, Ty locks him inside the closet to calm down. Alone in the darkness, Dickie prays for protection. Suddenly, the green ball transforms into a cute alien dog. Ty opens the closet and Dickie hurriedly hides it. After his father leaves for work, Dickie examines the creature and concludes it is an alien dog. He names it CJ7. They spend the night playing together. While dancing, CJ7 finds a rotten apple and uses its powers to restore it. When Dickie tastes the fruit and realizes it is fresh, he is excited the creature has magical powers. The next day, Dickie walks to school with CJ7 on his shoulders. He sets a test. If CJ7 can defeat a cruel dog down the street, it proves he's a real alien superdog. CJ7 charges and easily wins. Proud, Dickie continues to school. Later, hiding in the bathroom, Dickie asks CJ7 to help him ace his test. The creature pulls out a toolbox and builds special glasses that read classmates' answers. During the exam, tiny fly-like drones emerge and scan the papers, providing him with answers. Johnny notices them and chases them, accidentally hitting the teacher. Fanny joins, pretending to swat a fly. She laughs at the teacher's stunned expression and shattered glasses. When the results are announced, Dickie earns his first A, leaving him excited. Suspecting he cheated, his teacher asks to see his glasses. Dickie tosses it at him, and it explodes on the teacher's face. Dickie tells CJ7 he needs super sneakers for PHE class. In seconds, CJ7 invents super sneakers for him. During the high jump, Dickie clears the bar by an incredible margin. On the treadmill, the shoes deploy mechanical legs that let him run at an extreme speed, overwhelming the machine until it breaks apart. In swimming class, the shoes release propellers allowing him to swim swiftly. In soccer, his kick destroys the goalpost. The PHE teacher confronts him for destroying things. They get into a fight, but Dickie wins. Police arrive, but Dickie escapes to the sky using the shoe's flight function. He sees a cloud shaped like CJ7. Just then, he wakes up, apple in mouth, realizing it was a dream. His father calls him to get ready for school. Packing his bag, Dickie finds CJ7 inside. Even if the dream wasn't real, the alien dog is, and it will make his dream come true. On the way to school, Dickie stops at the alley where the cruel dog waits. He asks CJ7 to attack. The real dog charges, sending CJ7 flying. Dickie and CJ7 barely escape. Discouraged but determined, he continues to school with CJ7. In the bathroom, Dickie argues with the alien and demands help for the test. However, the only magic CJ7 performs is a cute poop. Dickie carries it into the classroom, hoping for a miracle. During the test, he keeps staring at the poop but nothing happens. Time runs out, but Dickie hasn't written a single answer. Mr. Chow announces the end of the exam. Johnny demands to know why Dickie is carrying feces. He then slaps the poop straight into Dickie's face. The contact triggers an immediate allergic reaction. After the chaos, Dickie storms into the bathroom and tries to drown CJ7's in the toilet bowl, blaming the innocent creature for tricking him. He demands CJ7 hand over the magical gadgets, but instead, it fires rapid shots of its foul-smelling poop at Dickie. The PHE teacher instructs the gardeners to hose him down, leaving Dickie soaked and humiliated. Dickie apologizes and calls CJ7 out of hiding. It trusts him and approaches, only to be captured and thrown into the trash. Dickie walks away, angry at the creature and blaming it for all his bad luck. However, guilt soon hits him. He realizes he's the one who set up all these expectations and now has ruined his only companion. He runs back to the trash, but the garbage truck has already taken it away. Desperate, he gives chase, yelling for it to stop, but it's already late. Dickie returns home tearful and tells his father he's lost his toy. But T finds CJ7 waiting patiently. The moment the alien sees Dickie, it leaps onto him with joy. Seeing the creature for the first time, T watches in awe, realizing it already shares a bond with his son. Curious, T examines the alien dog and tries to crush it with an iron plate, bending and twisting it. To his surprise, it springs back. Dickie pleads with his father to stop and quickly scoops up CJ7. That night, with the heat unbearable, CJ7 uses its magical antenna to fix the broken fan, exhausting itself in the process. The next morning, T discovers the fan works again and is astonished when Dickie hands him his test with a perfect A. Dickie walks through school proudly with CJ7 on his shoulders. Johnny and his minions spot them, and CJ7 hides in Dickie's backpack. They snatch Dickie's bag, trying every tool to reveal what's inside, but nothing goes through. Dickie manages to break free and create an opening for CJ7 to escape. Just as Dickie's about to hit Johnny, Dragon appears and grabs Dickie's arm. Before he can hit him, Maggie intervenes. She fends off his attacks and knocks him out completely. She checks on Dickie, ensuring he's unharmed. Meanwhile, Mr. Chow arrives, demanding to know what's happening. No one answers, so he grounds all of them in the field. Moments later, CJ7 rushes to Dickie and hugs him. Dickie thanks Johnny for not exposing CJ7, and the mischievous boy replies that they never share their business with adults. Seeing how cool CJ7 is, Johnny and his usual gang of bullies start warming up to Dickie. He shows them the little alien's tricks, asking CJ7 to sit and make a series of funny faces. By the end, the creature collapses, exhausted from the game. Soon, they all become friends and agree to stop bullying one another. At work, Ty proudly shows his colleagues that his son scored a perfect 100 on his test. They barely care, and his boss immediately accuses Dickie of cheating. When T checks the paper, he discovers the grade was altered from 0 to 100. Furious, he defends his son, nearly sparking a fight, but he steps back. The next morning, T questions Dickie about the test. The boy admits he really did change the score. Disappointed, T scolds him, and the two banter back and forth. Ty decides to take CJ7 away, insisting he will only give it back once Dickie scores above 60 on a test. Angered, Dickie tells his father to leave him alone forever and dares him, promising he'll hit that mark. That day, Dickie faces another exam, determined to prove himself and earn back CJ7. Meanwhile, Ty returns to the construction site. He plans to apologize for earlier tensions, only to be surprised when his boss instead pulls him into the office and apologizes for speaking about Dickie in public in such a manner. He even gives T some money to buy candy for his son. Ty feels the day must be his lucky day, unaware that disaster is about to strike. High above the ground, T continues his work on the building. Suddenly, a careless worker jumps onto a scaffold, dislodging a metal cylinder. It plummets, the rope tied to it wrapping around T's ankle. The cylinder falls off the building, pulling Ty with him. He tries to grab at anything, but nothing holds. Co-workers rush to help, but it's too late. He falls to his death. At school, Dickie celebrates his exam results, unaware of the tragedy. Miss Ewan arrives and takes him to the hospital, where they learn T has succumbed to his injuries. Through the glass doors, Dickie watches calmly, observing the reaction of Miss Ewan and his father's boss as the doctor delivers the news. He already sensed the outcome, yet he keeps his composure, holding in the shock. Heartbroken, Miss Ewan takes him home and gently tells him that his father has died. Dickie is devastated and finally lets out the cry he had been holding back. He asks her to leave, insisting he needs to sleep, believing that when he wakes, his father will be there. That night at the morgue, CJ7 slips out of T's bag. Seeing Ty lying lifeless, the little alien is filled with grief. It pours every ounce of its power into healing T, leaving him drained and barely able to move. When Dickie wakes the next morning, he finds his father asleep beside him. Startled, he jumps out of bed and stares for a moment before hugging him tightly, begging him never to leave again. Still confused, T hugs him back, not fully understanding what has happened. Dickie promises to be a good boy, to study hard, get good grades, and one day become successful. Suddenly, a strange beeping sound comes from T's bag. When they open it, they realize it's coming from CJ7. The little creature is barely able to move or even stand. A glowing orb slips from its antenna, and CJ7 collapses into a lifeless ragdoll. T attempts to revive it using both electrical and medical methods, but nothing works. Dickie, however, ties the doll around his neck, carrying his friend with him in the hope that one day CJ7 will awaken again. During summer break, Dickie's school hosts a picnic for students and parents. Ty shyly offers Miss Ewan a flower and attempts a few awkward jokes. He's clearly smitten, though she doesn't quite seem interested. Amid the fun, Dickie suddenly spots a UFO landing nearby. At that moment, CJ7's antenna begins to beep and flicker. Seconds later, hundreds of alien dogs identical to CJ7 emerge, racing toward him in a dazzling display. Dickie watches in awe. Maybe CJ7 isn't truly gone. And maybe, just maybe, the world is about to be filled with little alien friends just like him. If you didn't cry, you're probably an alien. Subscribe for more movies that pretend to be comedies and then emotionally destroy you anyway. CJ7 didn't die for nothing.